Brighton Theatre of the Air presents Rice by Dave Patchett.
Did you know that if you take two identical bowls of rice and subject one of them to the nastiest of verbal abuse, day after day its contents will putrefy and discolour, and that if the other sample is complimented and revered with pleasantries, its rice will remain wholesome? This is not the mysterious phenomenon that it appears to be. It's scientific. Organic things need to abide in a harmonic frequency. Enough about rice. Let's turn to human beings while they still exist. Picture the scene. A large bare room, two chairs welded to the floor, face each other. On one featureless wall, a large fridge, and on the opposite wall, the same. Everything is white, and that is all, or was, until the emergence of two human beings. They are sitting slumped upon the chairs. They are waking up.
Where am I?
Who are you?
Jeremy?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Too short an answer.
I'm a bloke, an ordinary bloke. It's coming back to me now. They broke into my home in the middle of the night. They frightened my family. They bundled me into a van, stuck a needle into my arm, which put me to sleep. Next thing, I wake up here.
Who were they?
How should I know? They were mob-handed. They wore dark suits. They had cardboard masks. Weird. Made out of breakfast cereal packets. They had guns. Who are you?
I'm Imogen.
Too short.
Too short an answer. I suppose I must be the female version of you. Your they are my they. The masks were made out of Rice Krispie packets. Did they speak at all?
No. But they showed me.
They showed you a note, which they left with our families. It went something like this. Dear family, Jeremy will be back soon enough. Do not go to the authorities. We are the authority. Do not go to the media. We are their editors. Do not go to the law. We are above the law.
How did you know that?
Because my family received the same. I have a husband and two girls at primary school.
I have the same. Only two boys. And of course a wife. What could this all be about?
It could be some kind of psychological experiment. Perhaps some kind of a comparison between the responses of two persons who are a kind of mirror image of each other.
To see how we panic.
Or not, possibly.
My family will be panicking, that's for sure. And they're bound to kick up a fuss, despite the note. Which could be just a bluff. After all, who is above the authorities? Surely no one. But if they're as powerful as they claim, well, then my kids and their mother will be in danger. I've got to get out of here.
At this point, Jeremy got up and kicked his chair. The chair felt nothing. His foot was not so lucky. He swore and limped around the room.
There's no door. How can a room have no bloody door?
He reached the fridge on his side of the room and repeatedly banged his head against it.
Stop it, Jeremy. You'll make yourself crazy thinking like that. And self-harming is of no use whatsoever. Emotional reactions are a waste of energy in our most extraordinary situation. Calm down. Take a deep breath. That's better.
Looking somewhat shamefaced, Jeremy got back to his chair and his sitting position.
We have to turn this round, laterally. Try this. I say, Jeremy, look at us. Transported to place unknown. Undoubtedly watched by persons unknown, as if in a film or on stage. This is our debut performance. Our lives were so predictable, but not now. Isn't it kind of thrilling? So, nice to meet you, Jeremy, and hopefully for you to meet me. We have so much to talk about. Isn't that the way to deal with this? I mean, what's the sense in worrying and fretting when for the time being there is absolutely nothing we can do? We can change nothing of our circumstances, nothing at all.
My, aren't you a cold fish? How do you do that? Just switch off from your loved ones?
I haven't switched anything off. Just compartmentalised. It's a trick of the mind. Be assured I'm just as freaked out as you. But I know something about controlling my mind. You see, I'm a psychiatrist.
Christ, how much worse can it get? I'm locked up for an unspecified period, maybe a lifetime, with a bloody psychiatrist.
There, you see, you haven't lost your sense of humour.
Except that I was being deadly serious. Wait a minute. A psychiatrist and your best guess? This could be a psychological experiment? How do I know you're not in on it?
I get what you're saying, but I'm not. No. It's just that this is the only way I can capture new clients. I'm joking.
Very funny.
While you were over there headbutting the fridge, did you think to check its contents?
You know that I didn't.
Let's do that now. I'll do the one on my side.
Mine's crammed with digestive biscuits, tins of corned beef. Oh, and wouldn't you just know it? Packets of Rice Krispies.
Great. We can have our own masked ball.
Oh, and there's a tin opener, a white plastic bucket full of corned beef tins. Yours?
Exactly the same.
What does it all mean?
It's not good news, I'm afraid. There is enough here to keep us alive for a year or so. Of course, it could be a bluff, just to get us into a depressed state of mind. Another thing, they may plan to divide us. I mean, why 2 fridges? Why not one big one? As for the buckets...
Yeah, even I worked out what the buckets were for.
Imogen moves across the floor to the centre, between the 2 chairs, and looks up at the ceiling.
Just as I thought. I can see 2 straight lines, about 4 inches apart, stretching from one side to the other and perfectly dividing the room. My guess is that they can press a button and lower a partition whenever they feel the time is right. This is purpose-built engineering and unlikely to be a bluff. And look, over here, half on your side, half on mine. 2 square segments flush with wall, barely visible. It must be the door.
Imogen gives it a serious shoulder charge. The doors remain solid and immovable.
So much for the thrill of our theatrical debut. This is a horrible nightmare.
Nothing's happened yet. It may never. So let's just resume our previous position and talk. Get to know one another.
So they did for an hour or so. They discovered where they were removed from. He from Birkenhead and her from Maidenhead. Coincidence? Now it's time to visit the they, who are next door in the control room. Along with security, there are 3 main players, Madam, Sir and Boy.
Why the long face, boy?
I'm taking this very seriously. My CV in mind. This is my first experiment.
Well, it won't do. Take a line. Put away your pen and paper, you silly boy. Observe your betters. Sir?
Good. Very good. Now you, boy.
Thank you, sir and madam. Really good.
That's better. A smile on the puppy face.
A light in the innocent's eyes. Now the experiment. Did you do your homework, boy?
Yes, sir. I went through the investigator's report. The man, Jeremy, is difficult. He is a true nonentity. We have nothing on him, or even anyone in his family. He works
We don't need to know where he works.
First rule of our business. Pen and paper, boy.
Everything in our business is on a need-to-know basis.
Of course, madam. As for
I
Imogen...
prefer the way you introduce the first subject.
Absolutely. The man, Jeremy. We don't want you associating yourself with the subject.
Sorry, sir and madam. As for the woman, Imogen, or even the subject, Imogen, sir's investigators have confirmed a plethora of interesting and usable information.
Well, spit it out, boy.
And go easy on the long words. We don't need a plethora of long words.
Words should be on a need-to-know basis. Fortunately, We both happen to know plethora. Get on with it, boy. But first, can you speak in a deeper voice, thus increasing your gravitas?
Listen to Madam. You sound like a choir boy.
Or even a choir girl, if there can be such a thing.
There certainly should be such a thing. Write that down, boy, and pass it down to whoever it should concern.
I'm sorry about my voice. You see, my voice hasn't broken yet. I'm, non-binary.
You are excused, then. By the heavens, the prescience of our forefathers is wondrous to behold. It was back in 1717 that the ugly, the UGLE respectfully, the United Grand Lodge of England, ruled that, and I quote...
Allow me, sir. A member who, after initiation, ceases to be a man, does not cease to be a member. May I add that I myself begin to find boy somewhat interesting. Boy can expect invitations to some of my more intimate social gatherings.
Thank you, madam.
Excellent. Variety is to be commended. Now, boy, back to work. Well, get on with it.
Thank you, sir. The subject had a relationship with a young woman when she was at Warwick University.
Disgusting.
Filthy.
Sorry, sir and madam. I'm confused. I know that this info can be used for abusive purposes, but your personal vilification? I thought that sir and madam, were uniquely liberated.
Only for us.
Well, not for them.
I see. Also, 3 of the woman Imogen's psychiatric clients have failed to respond to her treatment. 1 hanged himself, 1 slashed her wrists, and 1 murdered his parents and serves a life sentence.
Out of how many clients?
3,322. The subject has been at it for 15 years.
Madam, I defer to your judgment.
Truly amazing. She must be absolutely brilliant.
And she hardly ever prescribes pharmaceutical solutions.
Really?
Imagine that. The awful damage to the livelihoods of the working people of Warrington. We must have our pharmaceuticals.
It doesn't bear thinking about. So, boy, who gets the abusive voice loop?
Surely the man Jeremy, being incredibly pristine, he provides a more challenging test for the dark side of the rice experiment.
Oh, you have so much to learn, boy.
Sometimes I despair at the feeble intelligence of our younger generation. The man Jeremy is harmless to our society. The woman, on the other hand, is. She needs to be married to our desired conformity.
Or, in other words, riced. So, boy, take the voice loop to our sound engineer. Weave the woman Imogen's misdemeanours into the bile and vilification of our original voice loop. Scream, lesbian whore, serial murderess, etc., etc. Include vile swear words that are only uttered by, come to think of it, comedians, film stars and theatricals.
Take a security guard with you. Check his or her voice. For these purposes, we need a powerful and diabolical voice. No fault of your own, boy, but your voice, well, enough said.
Boy left and selected his chosen voice amongst the guards, and off they went to the sound engineers. All this time, back in the White Room, Jeremy and Imogen, given their predicament, were getting on famously. Jeremy listened to Imogen's insights into her personal and practical philosophy and felt a wisdom he had never felt before, and so their close encounter continued until the partition suddenly came shuddering down. They were a connected two. Now they became 2 divided ones, which sounds like a half, and a half is how each of them felt. Someone had pressed a button.
How did that feel, boy?
Marvellous. I pressed a button and shattered the world of 2 lesser mortals. And I actually began the first rice experiment.
Boy will make the grade yet. Now, let loose the voice loop.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. catch a chiropodist by the toe. Jeremy first.
I too will deal with Jeremy's story first and save the worst until the last. A pleasing sound frequency medley of the Beatles' melodies was radioed into Jeremy's room, such as If I Fell, You Can't Do That, Here Comes the Sun, that sort of thing. Soon enough, the volume was lessened and the voices harmonised with the harmonies.
Jeremy, my most humble apologies will surely be forthcoming. So far, investigations have proven to be fruitless. It seems that we too have been victims of misinformation. We will endeavour to make your wait as comfortable as possible.
We have passed a message to your family that you will surely be back with them within 2 days. They are happy with this good news and gleefully await your return. They asked us to pass on their love to you.
We are very impressed with your faultless character, and of course we will be rewarding you and your family with a generous compensation. As the Beatles of Birkenhead would chime, if they could chime, which they can't, it won't be long.
Sorry, Jeremy. That was Boy. He is sometimes over-imaginative. From now on you'll be eating the most delicious of foods, and we will provide you with a luxurious bed.
We will also be recommending, or rather ensuring, your promotion at your place of work, though we don't know where it is yet. We will have to ask Boy, who omitted to tell us.
And so on. Good news piled upon good news. During this sequence of overflowing love messaging, the hidden door revealed an aperture, and a bed on casters glided in with the most glamorous Alice guiding its journey. She departed, but soon returned with a trolley complete with candles and sumptuous dishes. Then she wheeled in a bath filled with perfume, hot water, and finally a mobile toilet. Alice curtsied in Jeremy's direction and asked the age-old question, "Is there anything else you would like me to do for you?" Jeremy declined, thinking only of his loving wife. The voice loop repeated itself several times and then ceased. It was time for bed. This became the pattern for 2 more days, yet Jeremy never tired of the good news and once even smiled about the Birkenhead Beatles. It won't be long, he thought, and it wasn't.
Is it time, madam?
Well, for the man Jeremy, yes. It's been 3 days. Look at him. He looks as pleased as Punch with himself. Mind you, the love frequency half was always going to be relatively easy.
Boy, get someone from security to bring Jeremy here. There's a good boy.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Boy did what he or she was told, and soon the door of the control room opened, and in walked Jeremy.
Let me shake your hand, Jeremy. I'm pleased to say that you've been exonerated.
May I kiss your cheek, Jeremy? There. We will never inconvenience you again.
Now to business. The sooner we get this over with, the sooner we get you home to your wonderful family. Boy, please bring over the leather satchel. Right. Now, Jeremy, it contains £200,000. Of course, to protect ourselves in order to receive your compensation, you have to sign this paper. It's a disclaimer. It means that you are liable in law if you so much as speak of your experience here to anyone.
Anyone? Is that understood?
Yes. But before I sign, I need to know what is happening to Imogen.
Oh, she's fine.
Where is she now?
Boy, is Imogen still in her room?
No, sir.
Well, where is she then?
She's working in the project office.
Shush, boy. Sorry, Jeremy, the boy's new. Boy has nothing between his ears. We don't even have a project office.
As the words were leaving Sir's mouth, Madam was lunging forward towards Boy.
Stupid! Stupid!
Sorry about that, Jeremy. Most unpleasant.
But informative. It crossed my mind from the start, but then Imogen convinced me otherwise. She's extremely good at what she does.
The game's up. No flies on you, Jeremy. Yes, Imogen is good.
Oh, not just good. Imogen is brilliant.
Where do I sign?
Here.
One more thing. Why were your security wearing Rice Krispie masks when they came to my house?
It is true that generally security are thick brutes. Ours are less so, almost, and some of them, obviously, have quite a quirky sense of humour.
Boy, go and fetch the guard, one whom we briefed, as to how to see Jeremy safely back to his home.
Jeremy was blindfolded for the first 10 minutes or so that he was being driven around the metropolis. At Euston Station, he was put on a train to Liverpool, and it was happy ever after from then on.
Well done, boy.
Quite the actor. Sorry about the slaps, though I did rather enjoy them.
But, sir and madam, why couldn't we have just told the man Jeremy that the woman Imogen works for us?
Where's the fun in that? Besides, the man Jeremy would have been less convinced.
The man Jeremy is absolutely sure now. He thinks he caught us out. He thinks he's smart. He likes that. The only alternative is that he was fooled and therefore witless.
And he wouldn't like that.
Incidentally, boy, how is the woman Imogen getting on?
It's all going very well from the Rice viewpoint. The woman Imogen is suffering greatly and looking dreadful, and that's after only 3 days.
Imogen stayed in a scientifically dreadful environment for 3 months and a bit. I myself, though an ex-soldier, became mortified at the destruction of this fine woman. I'm not going to go into too much detail. It would be too much for you to bear. Imagine, no chance of sleep, not with a 24-hour voice loop mixing doom metal music with the most savage screaming abuse for 24 hours a day. The bucket filled after 3 weeks, and from then on, horrible. Enough of that. Of course she buckled under the stress of it all. Her anger could not be compartmentalised. She repeatedly charged herself against the door. As a result, her shoulders became discoloured and badly bruised. By the 3rd month, she sought some kind of relief in self-harming. She used the keys she took from the corned beef cans. Enough of that too. What's that? You want to know if all this is true, or if I'm making it all up? Very well, I do have proof. You see, I am the thick brute that Boy took to the sound engineers. Boy's selection of me meant that my voice was the vilest abuser. May God forgive me. Anyway, whilst there, I picked up one of the many sound clones that were lying around the studio, and during a coffee break, I cloned the very voice loop that I had just acted in. Easy enough, it only took 5 seconds. If you insist, I'll play it for you, but only for a few minutes. Any more might cause you, yourselves, any amount of harm.
Imogen. Foreign name, foreign nature. Foreign agent, you traitorous bitch.
A bitch on heat. You've taken science and psychiatry and dragged them through the shame of your own filthy existence.
Do you remember Cynthia from Warwick University? Dead now, like most of the living things you've touched. Do your children know? Does your ignorant husband know?
Can you feel the madness? The creeping insanity? Can you diagnose yourself? No. Never mind. Soon you'll be able to go for a swim in your own piss.
You couldn't diagnose a burnt-out light bulb. You were not fit for purpose. You should and will be sectioned.
And force-fed the pharmaceuticals that you denied to others. You be the guinea pig that you made of each of your clients. Speaking of your clients, how is Eric Walker? Oh, sorry. He died during your therapy, didn't he? Still don't get too hung up about it. So it went on. I've played you only the mildest section. It is now 3 months into the rice experiment. Let's go back to the control room. Our 3 illuminated psychopaths are playing poker.
That's £3,322 you owe me, boy.
And, coincidentally, £4,322 that boy owes me.
My deal. Boy, better go and run a check on a woman Imogen.
Boy knows full well what will happen now. His 2 fellow members will run a check on his cards. He doesn't mind, though. He sees it as an inconvenient but necessary career investment. He or she returns to the card table.
So?
Everything is as it should be, sir. The woman Imogen is bloodied and bruised, continuously weeping like a baby, and as filthy as a sewer rat.
Fold.
Fold.
Oh, what a shame. I had 2 kings. Sir and madam, you asked me to keep an eye out for the timing of the taming of the shrew, i.e. the rice experiment. We are exactly 3 months, 32 minutes, and a few seconds since the beginning.
The taming of the shrew? Shakespeare's, in Conspiracy Reality, Christopher Marlowe's shrew was headstrong and obdurate, just like the woman Imogen. Quite apt, boy.
If somewhat over-imaginative yet again.
Madam, don't you mean conspiracy theory?
No, boy. I meant exactly what I said.
Sorry, madam, I should have known that. The time has arrived 33 minutes now.
Go to it, boy. Inform security to perform their remaining task.
Boy goes to it. Soon he returns.
Sir and madam, you never told me. May I ask, what are we going to do with the woman Imogen?
You may ask.
Oh, so I'm out of this particular loop?
No, boy. In the modern parlance, we are jiving with you. We bundle the wreckage of a subject into a van, drive it to Maidenhead, and roll it into a gutter near to a hospital. And then we work on a rice report. And then, on to our next project.
The woman is still very much alive. Sort of. Surely we should have, disposed of her.
Boy, oh boy, in the American parlance. Boy, so much to learn. Think it through.
The woman's family already put in pressure on the Thames Valley Police. If she was missing for, say, another month, they might have to give way and have to pretend to carry out an investigation.
But we are above the law?
Yes. But there are others who would get involved. Like that grubby, troublemaking Richard fucking Hall and other independent investigative reporters just like him.
Madam, I'm shocked. I've never heard you swear before.
Neither have I. Madam is right, though, as always. What does a woman know, boy, about us?
Nothing. Even on a need-to-know basis, the woman knows nothing.
And, in the unlikely event that the woman makes some kind of a recovery and becomes able to tell of her experience, who would believe it?
No one?
The woman would be taking a shortcut to the loony bin, and she herself would know that, her having been a brilliant psychiatrist.
I stand corrected. Another thing, who's going to clean up the rice room? Or why are you both looking at me? Why not the cleaning woman?
It has to be kept in-house.
Security, then?
It's not in their remit.
Perhaps you'd like to be represented by your union rep. Oh, you haven't got one? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. You'd better get on with it then. Now!
The hardest part of any job is starting it. So jump to it, boy.
What happened to Imogen after being left in the gutter? A good Samaritan phoned 999 and she was taken to the nearby hospital. She was cared for and made a partial recovery. Then she returned home to her family. She never burdened anyone with her story, even her husband. After some time, she became her brilliant self again. Imogen never went back to her psychiatric practice. Instead, she became a hairdresser and gradually built up a viable business. Her salon was different to the modern versions. Somewhat old-fashioned, she allowed for no music and specialised in talking with her customers. Perhaps I should say her new clients. How do I know all this? A clue. I still have hair, and from time to time it needs cutting. Me? You want to know what happened to me? I'm touched, thank you. I remained in-house for a few more years. I used my considerable skills to collect documentation of our vile experiments, but since the suppression of WikiLeaks, no one has had the courage to publish exposures of what is going on behind the curtains. I am long retired now. I have learnt a new skill though. Under an assumed name, I have taken to writing plays.
The narrator was played by Wayne Liversidge. Jeremy was played by David Floyd Miller. Imogen was played by Jean Kelly. Madame was played by Janina Kapinska. Sir was played by Guy Dixon. And Boy was played by Matthew Shelton-Jones for Brighton Theatre of the Air.